Namaste, welcome dear friends and everybody who are live with us and who will be watching us in future. Today we have a very special guest and dear friend, Ma Chetan Pyasa and Swami Satyam Vinaya. It gives me tremendous joy and pleasure to bring again Swami Satyam Vinaya and his beloved longtime partner Ma Chetan Pyasa. Ma Chetan Pyasa and Swami Satya Vinaya, welcome to Bhagwan Meeting Place of Friends. Before we begin, I'd like to ask Swami Satya Vinaya to take us through 1 or 2 minutes of laughing meditation, because what we are going to talk about today is very fun, very serious topic. If you listen carefully, it could even save your lives.
Well,
Suvarna, can you share those pictures that I've asked you before?
All right, so I invite you to join me in a minute and a half, no worries, laughing meditation. And one of the tools Osho shared with us, which is an amazing one, to turn the day around, or the moment, or anything. And it's a good exercise to do that first thing in the morning when you get up. Have a good laugh. So we're gonna laugh for a minute and a half, and then there will be a gong. And and then we just sit silent for a minute or so, and then we start.
Satyam, before we proceed, can you explain this picture, because they have a lot of meaning?
Well, the one on the left, which is me laughing, I just had the inspiration to show all my faces and the reaction of my parents about the changing in times, I guess. And it was just fun to do that. And the space gods, I created a long time ago.
Right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the space gods I created a little while ago, just playing around and just having this inspiration. Yeah, not seriously, but we're space gods, you know, we're coming from space, I guess.
And we like to dress up a lot. We used to dress up in costumes a lot. So that is us. Vinaya looks great in that wig now.
Yeah. All right. So I invite you to close your eyes. Just become conscious of your breath. And then look at the hilariousness of our lives, and let's have a good laugh. Just be silent now. Go inwards and just observe.
Oh dear.
Thank you. Welcome to planet Earth.
Let me begin by giving the brief introduction of our guest today. Chetan Pyasa is dedicated to lifting the veil on the individual, collective, and sexual conditioning that has kept humanity limited and depressed. She works with women and couples as a sovereignty mentor, supporting them to step into their empowerment and turn wounds into the wisdom. She is a trained sexological body worker and trauma-informed somatic sexologist. Her work has been deeply inspired by Osho. Pyasa created a platform for her students to deprogram holistically with a unique approach which facilitates the release of unconscious patterns and reconstruction of neural networks to embody their original design. She mentors people online one-to-one, group retreats, and on her personalized individual signature activation vacations. And about Swami Vinaya, it's a very long story, so I'm trying to go as fast as possible.
Don't even go there.
Okay. So Swami Vinaya is just a spiritual being who come to this human consciousness. So let me begin by this quote from Alice in the Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. "Who are you?" said the caterpillar. This was not an encouraging opening for a conversation. Alice replied, rather shyly, "I hardly know, sir. Just at present, at least I know who I was when I got up in the morning, but I think I must have been changed several times since then." "Who are you?" said the caterpillar. So, I'm lost. Tell me about both of yourselves, and how did you two beautiful spiritual souls able to be alone together, growing in love for 20 years? Do you think it's a karma, soulmates, or perhaps some divine intervention?
If karma exists, then I would say yeah. that's karma. And that's somewhat the right life for us to work and meet and be together. And if that holds true, I really don't know. I just know that it kind of like amazes me every day. And I feel very fortunate. And yeah, there has been a difference in my life, period, always being somewhat fortunate or blessed all along the way. And so somewhat I'm not surprised that I have met her. That's my take on that question.
I would say I'm not really sure. I couldn't really say for certain if we are soulmates, although our souls have been meeting for the last 20 years. And when we first met, there was definitely a spark. There was something that was very familiar. But beyond that, I'd say that we make a choice every day to commit to ourselves and our own self-growth. And so I like to call us partners. You know, it's like 20 years ago, we got married for a green card because Vinaya was overstayed 7 or 8 years in Hawaii, and I'm American, he's German. And so we wanted to go back to India and travel together. And in order to be able to return back to Hawaii, we realized we would have to get a green card. And so we did the marriage thing, which is something that I swore that I would never do. I wasn't interested in getting married. I swore I would never have children. I would never get married. But so we did it. And I think that, you know, it's just a choice every day to commit to oneself, to your own personal growth work. So where I was going with that story is actually we're married. So I could call him my husband, but I kind of saved that for like if the plumber comes over and I'm like, well, my husband said, you know, or the mechanic or something. It comes in useful in times like that. But otherwise, I like to call him my partner because I see that that's what we are, is we are partners in a ship of relation.
Just to give our viewers some rough idea or guide, can you give a brief about who you are, who you were, and who are you aspiring to be?
Those are really good questions.
But they will take about 5 hours to explain. But I actually just recently posted a video and about like just being who you are or being who I am. And I always knew who I am somewhat, but I could never put it into words, and I still can't do that. Through all the changes in my life, I was always the same. And stepping into that isness is who I am right now, whoever that is. It's yeah, I don't know. So that might give you an answer to that question, because it's, yeah, like Pyasa says, it's like, even though there's a change every moment, there is still a core of like never changing. And just being that is one of our practices to experience more and more together alone.
Who I was, I mean, essentially, I am divine. On an ego level, I was born into a lot of trauma, and so there was a lot of impact on my ego and a lot of fracturing of myself. And so I would say that I was very dysfunctional and lost, really quite lost for a lot of my early part of my life, and very suicidal, just not happy to be in a body. And around, I think I was about 20 or 21. It was the year, I think it was the year after Osho left his body, I found myself in India, or I got myself to India by some divine intervention, and was introduced to dynamic and in different groups, you know, in Pune. And even though Osho had already left his body, it was very alive there still. Like the energy of Osho was still permeating the ashram. And so this really affected me. And then many years later, when I met Vinaya, we started listening to Osho a lot. We were doing a lot of meditations. That's actually how I met Vinaya in the beginning, as he was holding dynamic, yeah, like 21 days of dynamic in a community where I was living in Hawaii. And I think that a little bit before that, I really started on a personal growth path, really. But that activated a lot more of getting to know who I am, or bringing together these fractured aspects of myself. So who I was, very dysfunctional, who I am now, a lot more together, a lot more integrated within myself, a lot less triggers and reactivity than I used to have. And did you say who am I becoming? I'll probably return back to my original essence. I think, you know, being on that path of reintegration. I hope that answered some of what you were asking.
I think it keeps on changing as we speak, because every minute everything is constantly changing.
Yeah.
So you also work with women empowerment and mentoring them with conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give a brief detail about that? What you do and what you've been doing?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I call myself a sovereignty mentor because it's like an umbrella to explain what I do. I'm a trained trauma-informed somatic sexologist and sexological body worker. And I'm bringing in, you know, I use a lot of Osho's techniques, a lot of his meditations to help women and couples. I do sometimes work with couples to become more aware of the conditioning that we've all been given around our sexuality. And, you know, we've been taught to go along with somebody else's agenda, right? And essentially we have been conditioned to be inauthentic, you know. So the work that I do is using inquiry and meditation and somatic practices to help rewire our systems for freedom, essentially, to come back into who we are, to know what it is that we want within our our own selves. Most of us have been trained to do, whether it's women or men, you know, just in living up with the religions, growing up with the religions and in the societies that we've been raised in. So it's all about getting back to coming back to oneself, getting out of the head and into the body. And so much of my work, as you shared at the beginning, has been inspired by Osho. You know, just seeing the ways that we've gone along.
Well, the effectiveness of his meditations and insights always gives in like moment, and then through that there's a gateway to see what's actually happening in me, or what's the program and how that works. And yeah,
I mean, we've all been traumatized by religions and society, really. So, and it's affected our nervous system. It's affected our ability to be present. And so much of, like, when I talk about somatic as a somatic sexologist, somatic means body-based. And Osho, really, what he was sharing as his meditations are, as you know, active meditations. It was so much, there was so much wisdom in the practices that he brought to the world, because it was helping to release trauma from the nervous system so that we could actually come to a place of feeling centered and present. So yeah, just profound. He was so much ahead of his time.
And I also, by reading your biography, that you two are both initiated in fourth level Andean healer by the Quero peoples of Peru. Can you give some story behind that? How did you get into that, and how did it led you to become a healer? And what is that?
I can start.
Okay.
Okay. I think we were in California and heard something about this amazing trip in Peru and meeting these shamans, these people from the indigenous cultures, and somewhat there was a intuitive, yeah, we need to go kind of feeling. So we went, it was like a tour, and we got a taste of the cosmovision, of the culture, of the relationship of the indigenous Quero Indians to nature. And it really felt right. And then we really started to go deeper into it.
So the Queros are indigenous people from the area around Peru, around Cusco in Peru. And they kept their original culture when the Spanish Inquisition happened. Spanish Inquisition?
Yeah,
the Spanish occupation and Inquisition, really. You know, there was a lot of destruction of the culture in South America during that time. And the Queros went to a very high altitude and kept themselves separate from the mixing of the whole Spanish culture during that time. And the cosmovision, the way that they see the world, is completely connected with nature. They have within their culture, and in the word, there's a Quechua word, it's called Aini, which means sacred reciprocity. And this is the way that they live their life, is in sacred reciprocity with nature. And so, like Vinaya said, we went down, I think it was in 2011. We were introduced to them, and we went through numerous ceremonies, and then we continued to work with them. At one point, we brought them to Ecuador, where we were living, and we went through a number of initiations, which, like you said, initiated us as what they call fourth level healers within the Andean mystical traditions. And so the fourth level is about coming out of the third level, which is about separation, and into the fourth level, which is about unity consciousness. It's about seeing everybody as your brother and sister, and knowing and feeling our connection with the world and all of nature. And so they taught us the art of despacho making, which is a ceremony in honor of Pachamama, in honor of Mother Earth. And it's a ceremony of Aini, sacred reciprocity. And yeah, and other techniques of, like the Andean version of soul retrieval, which is bringing back these fragmented aspects of ourselves. When we experience trauma and we fragment, we compartmentalize different aspects of ourselves. It's bringing that back into what they call our pakpo, which in Quechua, which is basically our aura, our energetic field, so that we can reintegrate. So that and other forms of healing. And they're just beautiful, pure people. They've really brought a lot into the world, and keeping their traditions really beautiful.
Oh, thanks. What I haven't what I forget to mention here is Vinaya is also a karmic crystal healer as well. He have a lot in his YouTube channel. He talks a lot about crystals and one of the fascinating things are a lot of this stone and crystal have the consciousness as well. And we don't view them as a living beings, but they have a spirit. And also talked this in his book, The Insights of Miraculous, how like some stone can bring good fortune, some can bring bad luck and stuff like that. All the esoteric talk. But I'm gonna go through our next question. The
Hang on,
million dollar.
hang on, I have to tell you a story.
Yeah.
Wait. Osho and crystals. Ah, I loved it so much. A friend of ours who was working with crystals in the ashram, I forgot his name. He asked Osho about the effectiveness of crystals. And his answer somewhat went into the neighborhood of, well, you know, yeah, they work, but you can also use a hubcap. You know, you can use anything. But what he was actually really saying is, or what I understand in my experience is that, yeah, I can use a hubcap. It's just my intention actually, and where I direct my energy. And yeah, so that's for that. I just came to my mind. Go on with your question.
Yeah, this is a $1 million question, and on the surface level, this looks like so easy. Like if you ask anybody, they would give you tons of answer. But I just like to hear your view. What is love, and how do I know love if I don't know self-love?
Well, Osho said that love is a state of relaxation. And that I share that a lot. To me, that's really true. It's, you know, a lot of people will say that love hurts. You know, they're in relationships, they split up, and there's this whole, you know, concept that love hurts. And I think that that's just a bunch of bull. That's just ridiculous. It's all of the conditioning and the hopes and the dreams and the expectations that hurt and the disappointment that hurts. But true love is a state of relaxation. It's when we can just feel at ease and at home with ourselves and with somebody else, right? So if you don't love yourself or accept yourself, I don't think that it is very possible to love somebody else. I think so often people are loving an idea of what they have of somebody else. They put people on pedestals and they love them, and you know, they think that they love them, they adore them, they want to be with them, and then oftentimes something happens and then they just like fall off, and now they're out of love, right? So there's this whole idea of falling in love, but actually there is no falling. It's about rising in love, I would say. What do you think?
Yeah, and also trying to put that into words is what love is for me, what I experience as love. It's definitely not possible to explain. I can point out that it has nothing to do with any reason whatsoever. It's just there. And no matter what. And yeah, and if I don't love myself, yeah, obviously I cannot love anybody else. That's impossible. I mean, that's just impossible. And
but I do believe it's a state of consciousness.
State of being, yes.
It's relaxation. I think that's just the simplest way to say it. Love is a state of relaxation.
Yeah. I give you my bank account later for the answer, right? It was $1 million question, right?
Satyam. Yeah,
That's very Vinaya.
Satyam, going back to crystals again, since
Yeah.
this is you have a group where you post a lot of pictures of different crystals and they can talk to you in a way, or you can talk to them.
Yeah.
And you have this gift of, doing healings with crystals, talking with them. And also every week you hold this a Facebook Live where you ask the people to give numbers and then you can give them advice. I have done it twice with you. I was not sure of giving a charity one time to some organization, but I listened to you, and twice you had said the same thing. So it was all about giving. Then can you share about this specific gift you have? Not everybody can do this intuition.
Well, I did have all my life some different vision. I always was able to look behind the story. And it came to fruition by really understanding that I am not a psychic or what. I am just able to step aside and let talk and be not in the way, being open to the divine voice, I guess. It's really hard to understand, but I don't even understand it myself, really. But it's just healers or people who are an accessory to healing. The healer can never heal anybody. He can be a tool. They are masters when they're able to step aside and just let flow, just be in the moment, being available, being aware, being conscious, and just no judgment, just being. Yeah, and you have an idea? Yeah, good, because I don't know what to say.
I think part of the reason that Vinaya is so good at what he does as a reader is because he completely trusts himself.
Right.
I think it's a lot about just trusting what comes. I mean, and intuition, that's what it really is about, is we receive messages and we trust it. Like the stronger our intuition is, the more that we trust it. And he doesn't really doubt himself. He just does it. He just does it.
Yeah, that's true. Like sometimes something comes out of my mouth and I go like, what? Like in the back. But yeah, I don't ask. I just trust. Yes.
I'll again go back to the same topic of self-love. This is the code shared by one of my friends in the Facebook, and I thought this is relevant to the topic we are talking today. My children will know self-love before I allow them to date. What will happen to these children when they begin to allow others into their emotional, sexual, and financial lives without first deeply feeling self-love and acceptance? What we unconsciously invite and attract into our lives without first knowing self-love is a lifetime of untold pain, insecurity, neediness, doubt, abuse, and other forms of destructiveness. What was your life and experience in relationship prior to meeting each other?
You go?
Yeah,
You go.
I didn't know you go first.
What was your experience in life prior to meeting? Personally, I was fascinated by sexuality. I actually remember as a teenager, I said, when I grow up, I'm going to be a sex therapist. And it's crazy because it wasn't until I was in my 30s that I started on that path, not as a sex therapist, as a somatic sexologist. But my interest in sex was very double-edged. As I was speaking and as you're talking about raising a child, to have that self-love, I didn't have that. I was, there was this double-edged thing of like dysfunctionality, a need to be needed, codependency, and then at the same side, really open and interested and curious about sexuality. So it was like both things were driving that for me. And I think that when I met Vinaya, we actually decided to wait to have, I'll say intercourse. I say sex, but I have to be honest, intercourse. And that created a huge shift in this space of restfulness and a trust and an openness. And I think this understanding that we're not in this just for sex, just for the physicality of it all. So before Vinaya, I was really lost and searching and curious. It's like there's always this duality that's playing out, right? So I had, just a lot of dysfunctional relationships, I would say. Feeling my way in the dark, which gave me a lot of experience. And as I was mentioning before, I think that my early childhood experiences taught me to go along with somebody else's agenda. So I didn't really have good boundaries. I didn't know how to say no. And so that is a big basis of the work that I share in the world at this time, is helping people to claim their own desires, to understand, to get in touch with their own desires, to know what they are, to have better boundaries, to be able to find their voice, to be able to express it so that they can have the life that they want, rather than just going along with what everybody else wants for them, which is what I did a lot. It was a very disempowered place.
And I have to say that the only reason why, in my book, Pyasa was able to step out of these old experiences and not being run anymore was, before that meeting, a lot of work, a lot of inner work, a lot of questioning, a lot of looking at the wounds and doing the work. And
going through the dark night of the soul for many, many years. Many years. I have a lot of experience that I bring to the people that I work with. And I think that is, why we're still together. But you're supposed to tell your prior experience
with sexuality
and relationships.
Yeah.
Tell the truth.
Well,
be careful of 20 years. I don't want to ruin after this show.
No, well, I had a few short relationships when in my teeny years, and I think one or so a little bit longer. But then what happened was that I suddenly understood that I'm not a good German and I need to get out of here. I need to find something else, because this is not happening. This eat, sleep, die cycle, and anyway. So
reproduce.
Reproduce. So I went on the trip to India and searching for something. I didn't quite know what it was, but it was fun. And it was so overwhelming sensual that I didn't even think of sex. I wasn't celibate, but there was so much happening. There was so much wow. It was not in my book. And then I met Osho. And I really like the quote from him where he goes like, explore every nook and corner of your sexuality. Don't let anything be covered. And I go like, yeah, I can go for that. And I had a few years of going overboard, up to here, where suddenly one day, sitting in the German bakery, beautiful new woman comes in, and my normal reaction was like, how do I get to know her? And then immediately it was like, oh, well, same old, boring, whatever. And kind of like went away. And yeah, then was living my life, had every now and then some sex because it's fun. And then at one point I don't know why, it was like I started to envision a partner. I mean, all my life I had this idea that there is nobody crazy enough to stay with me for longer than 10 minutes. So I wasn't even really looking for somebody. It was kind of sure, no, it's not happening for me.
You couldn't ask with the crystal.
What's that?
You couldn't even ask with the crystal.
No, that came later. There was just this, I envisioned a partner where I can work with and be with. And yeah, that was really funny. When I met Pyasa, I knew that's the one. And it was really interesting because the major drive was not sex. The major drive was, I just want to be intimate with this person. And yeah, that was really interesting.
I think his story is actually very reflective of, you know, Osho talked about something, there was something he talked about, like, if you're an old man and you're still obsessed with sex, what was it? It's like
you never lived it,
yeah,
or
you
just repressed
didn't
it.
live, yeah, if you don't express and live your sexuality, that then when you're old and like way beyond the times when, you know, sexuality is really a thing, you're still like obsessed with it, right? It's kind of like yeah. So I think from what I feel from Vinaya, not that he wasn't interested in sex. We still had quite a honeymoon for many, 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 many years. But that it's not the driving force. It's not the driving force. I think there's a difference between the love of the body and love of consciousness, right? And like being intimate, it's more about consciousness and vulnerability and seeing each other's shadows and commitment to the self, right? Like that is more, and to growth and evolution, personal evolution.
Yeah, and then that changed also already our wild 2 or 3 years honeymoon. It was like,
You think it was only 2 or 3? I think it was a long time.
It was a long time, yeah.
Like the total honeymoon, hormone-driven kind of time that most people, once it's over, that's when people kind of fall out of relationship, I believe. Then all of a sudden you see like, oh, wait a minute, like when the hormones aren't the only thing driving it, then people go, oh, wait a minute, now I see this whole person. Oh, this isn't who I thought, you know, I wanted. Like, it's like taking the blinder off. And I think that's a lot of the point where a lot of people fall apart, actually.
And
as a couple.
To the coming to the now with our sexuality, again, my master comes to mind, where, and I don't quote him perfectly, but the idea was that if you do live your sexuality in the right time and explore it and live it, and you know, then naturally at one point you will be done with it, and then you can use your energy for your sexual energy, which you still have as a life force, but it's not confined to the genitals anymore and to the hormones. It's just energy, and then you can use it for creativity or what. Yeah, and I see that so naturally happening with us. And it's really interesting because sometimes the mind comes in and goes like, yeah, but it was really fun, you know? And yeah, but this is way, I don't even know. It's just such a juice, such an intense juice, what even the juiciest sex couldn't really reach here. And it's really amazing to, yeah, listening to Osho, experiencing what you need to experience, work on yourself when you know, when you come up with something and become more aware and conscious and watch, you naturally flow into a space of ease and love.
Thank you for that very beautiful answers. At this point, I'd like to ask the participants who are here with us to ask any of their burning question. And if you have to rant, could you make it not more than 30 seconds?
That's a good request.
Yeah. Suvarna, can you ask the participants if they have any question to ask Satyam or Vinaya
Yes.
related to?
Feel free, our friends.
Don't be shy.
Yeah, Anna, Paula, Majita, Sangeeta. We have a lot of females here today. So feel free to ask.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Madhugita as well, feel free to ask any questions.
Hello. Yeah. I'm wondering, hey, Vinaya and beautiful Chetan. Chetan is your name. Yeah. I'm curious about that beautiful little tattoo. Is it a tattoo what you're having there? It's just a very cheeky little tattoo there. This
Can you
distracting
see?
me very much. Huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I feel. Oh yeah.
It's a
Oh,
Merkaba.
you're
Can you see it?
beautiful. Thank you. Oh, you're such a beauty. I can imagine you, Vinaya, that you're speechless, that you are just listening and it cannot be expressed in words. The beautiful relationship, what you're having. I'm really enjoying to see both of you. So fantastic. Vinaya, I really admire you that you can just keep up with this beauty. And I'm really, of course, it is a bit like, you know, it's mind blowing. I noticed this, but as you want to speak and express yourself, this woman is totally has overwhelming influence on you, and you are at a loss, man. And it's beautiful to see you like that, to see you laughing. So yeah, I am enjoying just meeting you here. Very nice to see you.
Thank you.
Two of you are role modeling the sharing of the love. You know, this is something that Osho spoke about so beautifully, about that when we are in love, that what we do is we share what it is that is so precious within us with our significant other. And so just watching the two of you, what you're doing is you're there for each other, and you're supporting each other, you're energizing each other, and you're checking in with each other, and you're helping each other out, wordcraft and so on and so forth. Well, that's love. That's the true essence of what love is the giving too. And I was a little late joining the show here this morning because I got an emergency call from Bhutan, where
From North Pole.
it was a mother that was it was a mother that was was in distress because her 11-month-old baby was in high temperature and throwing up, and so she called me, asked me, what to do. Well, so I shared with her because she could feel the love. So I shared with her, energy technique of just sweet sweep the body like you do, you brush your hair, and then just send pink, light whitish pink, which is the color from our heart. It's the color of love. You know, send the love energy from your heart into the bottom of the feet of this little baby, very, very gently. You know, and then what that does is that sends this message to the child of, I am loved, I am receiving love, I am being given the love, and then it resets the whole distress pattern, and then the baby goes back into, okay, you know, I can deal with this, you know. So yeah, wonderful watching the two of you. This is absolutely beautiful.
Thank
He's a
you.
wizard.
Yes, I can see that. I can feel it.
Pug is also a pranic healer. He learned with the teacher himself when he was in the body. And a lot of things, he's a shaman. I don't even have words to describe what he is.
I love to laugh, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, laughing is so important. You know, and the laughing Buddha in Pune. I mean, my gosh.
So join us every Wednesday. We have a 10-minute laughing meditation on Zoom.
When I was in Pune one, I did the 230-day intensive groups, and one of them was single question. Tell me who you are.
Oh yeah. Oh,
And the rest of the time we walk around with an in silence button badge, you know, and this is the only thing that we have to stay in this process of who am I? Well,
yeah.
we start off with, you know, I am a man. No, that's not who. That's what. My name. Oh no, that's a what. That's not a who. You know, and these and is a saturation of that single question for 30 days. You know, it's supposed to be unanswerable, but then I got real clever and I went, I am the song behind my song. And I thought, yeah, I nailed it. Got it. And the group leader came over and said, okay, enough of that. Go sit in front of the mirror. And for a week or so. And I'm going, no, that's not who I am either. You know. And then I came across Master Choa, and he answered it for me. It was amazing. Just, we are a soul having a human experience. Oh yeah, well there it is. You know.
Now the trick is only to actually become aware of that.
Yeah, you know, and live your love large, which is what the two of you are doing. You know, you're living your love large.
If you do it, you might as well do it right. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with the who's in exercise that you're talking about, meditation, it's really the pointing out the fact that most of the time we're identifying with the fragmented parts of ourselves and thinking that's who we are.
Yeah. And that's not who we are. That's what we do.
That's right.
That's what we do.
That's what we do when we're human doings rather than human beings. Yeah.
So who you guys are is this love that you're sharing with each other. I mean, you just, you know, you're glowing. Both of you are glowing, you know, to be in each other's energy field. You know, that's love. You know, that's the true essence of what love is. It's this happiness of just, you know, being well with the universe and being well with ourselves, being well with our inner, love ourselves, you know, and we can love others. Yeah. Excellent. Role models.
Which don't let us deceive you. There's been many times that we hate each other.
Oh, well, that's all part of it too. That's the spice of life.
Well, we always, at one point, we always choose to stop taking ourselves so seriously.
Okay, yeah, gotta laugh. Eh?
I think that would be the end of that, right? But there's moments that and yeah, we're extreme individuals. We're very, very much individuals, and at the same time, yeah, this happened.
We have a question from Jita.
Okay.
Ask
Hi,
her.
Majita.
She's in London, UK.
Hi, it's a really beautiful conversation. We are enjoying your conversation. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's I can see everyone can experience the soul mate, and then the energy exchange between you is a really divine blessing within you, and then we are also just having really joyous the when listening to the conversation is very lively. So my question is, do we need really necessary sex to have a blissfulness and infinite joy?
Absolutely not. I would say not at all. No. I mean, my work is around sexuality. I talk a lot as a somatic sexologist, right? So, but when I say the word sex, or we're talking about sex, I'd like people to understand that our sex energy is our creative energy. It's our life force energy. It's our chi, right?
Yeah.
And that's the basis, the foundation of
Yeah.
everything. But
Yeah.
it doesn't have to do with genital grinding, right?
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful way to express ourselves.
I love it. I love that word.
Right? It's a wonderful way to express
Yeah.
ourselves and something to share.
Yeah.
And then using other words that are related to sex but don't have to do with genital grinding would be orgasm. We can be orgasmic, live orgasmic lives, have heartgasms, crygasms. We can have all kinds of gasms. And
Gasms.
so,
Oh,
yeah,
right.
no.
Because one more thing. So let me share something. What I listened from Osho, and then I know that it's a general life. Some people are misunderstanding about sexuality and sex. And the Osho says, "Bhago mat jago." Just try to understand. Don't run away, but try to understand what is this. It's a life force, as you said. So some people, they are just misusing this divine activities, and then they are just seeking for the, I think, this organ pleasure, genital pleasure. But there is the something can experience more than that genital activities. That's I mean, it's like what I experienced. That's what I'm trying to say and then trying to share. Maybe I'm wrong, or because you have been following this path years and years. So, but just I started path this 5 years ago. So, but I could experience this immense happiness and the blissful. This I want to know from you what is the exact this experience.
You want to know from me? Can you say that again? What?
I mean, that is my experience. That the why I'm going through, and then that's like yeah. This I want to know this. I know you mentioned already anyway. But general, the misusing it is just like it's like a genital pleasure only. But that is they forget the union, divine union, the energy force.
Yeah. I have something to say.
Yeah, no, just about your experience being in that space, and then how do
I'll speak for me. Yeah, I mean, the misuse, I don't feel that it's conscious. I think that it comes out of a place of need for many people and looking outside of themselves for somebody is going to save me. Somebody is going to make me stop feeling so lonely.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't think that it's conscious. I think people do the best that they can with what they know. And, like everybody wants intimacy, right? And that's another word that's associated with sex. But I think intimacy is really about being seen, feeling like relaxing and feeling safe enough to be vulnerable and be seen. And so that is, I think, the driving force between underneath that drive for sex, besides hormones. Hormones
Yeah.
play a big part. Like there's just this drive for
That's
humans
true.
to reproduce. But if we
Yeah.
choose not to do that, I mean, for people can choose to do that, and if we don't choose to do that, I think we have a lot more time for focusing on the self, and doing the, you know, the growth work to integrate, to come back to the self. And, you know, with that, talking about reproduction, I just want to say that I have heard so many mothers say that about their baby, you know, if you haven't had a child, you have no idea what unconditional love is all about. And I have to say that that always strikes me as so ridiculous, because this is unconditional love.
Yeah. Yeah.
As somebody
Yeah.
said on the call already, like to be with this crazy man, right? There's many times I could say, fuck this. I'm just over this. I'm out of here, right? But then I have to look at my own reactivity and own my own triggers and come back to the choice. And so like relationship is such a sacred mirror, because I get to see myself.
Yeah.
You know, I get to see my own
Yeah.
reaction, and then I have the opportunity to decide if I would like to respond. How would I like to respond rather than just be in reaction? So yeah, hormone driven sexuality, and people, I think, just wanting to feel connected to the divine.
Yeah.
And being taught through the conditioning, through society, that is, we're
Yeah.
going to get that through sex.
Yeah. You're
And we
right.
can get it with sex.
Yeah.
We can have that, you know, I'm definitely not dissing on sexuality or sex, but yeah, it's not a given that you're going to have intimacy or connection with sex. Most people don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see the, you know, the no separation between you. No separation between you. Oneness, you know.
Yeah.
Union.
Union, complete union. That's
And-
very amazing.
Anna and Paula, if you have anything to share or ask or say, feel free.
I had a
Anna?
question. Doesn't matter. Anna?
Hi,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
You carry on. I can ask after. It's fine.
Okay.
Aha.
Well, first of all, I'm so blown away by you two. And thank you for doing this. You're just so beautiful, and watching you is like making me so full of joy. I was really fascinated with what you said about the Quechua people and your studies in Peru. And I was wondering how your experience with learning from Osho influenced how you approached going to Peru and learning from the ancient cultures. And I liked what you said about third level healers, fourth level healers, fourth level being like unity consciousness. And that kind of made me think like third dimensional, fourth dimensional. And so I was wondering what you think is the future if there's a fifth level healer.
I'll let him go, and then thank you. That's a great question.
About the fifth level healer, there's a prophecy of the Kero Indians that at this time, 12 fifth level healer will appear, and the criteria is they heal with one touch, period. And they will gather, and then the sixth level, the Inca, is going to come back, who will rule the world according to the Aini. So at the moment, there's only fourth level, but in these in the fourth level, there's different classifications and different levels in each classification. And like for becoming a master healer on this plane at this point, you actually have to be hit by lightning 3 times as an initiation.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And
We didn't do that
My
part.
friend.
so yeah, but like they're like just
But in Osho,
oh cool.
the
Yeah, with
relation to
Osho, there was a relation with Osho. I don't know if that has any relation whatsoever, except maybe to have learned to follow my intuition and not ask questions. And it really felt, yeah, we want to do this. We want to meet these people. And yeah, directly Osho has nothing to do with it except having me trained and being a little bit more alert and trusting.
There is a Quechua word to describe the age that we're living in right now, and that we're entering into. So we were coming from this age of separation, and what the Queros talk about as the world turns upside down, and we're coming back into the age, or coming into the age of the Taripai Pacha, which is the age of meeting ourselves again. And I think that Osho would appreciate that. the age of meeting ourselves again. Yeah.
Well, with the being struck by lightning 3 times, that can be allegoric with what Osho was doing to us when he was activating us, you know? Like, that's Shaktipat, you know?
Yes.
So Shaktipat is another form of lightning, you know, getting the empowerment from a master being. Shazam.
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 Totally.
Yes. Yeah, it is similar in definitely in the idea, because about being shattered and blown to pieces and then assimilating and then being rebuilt again. But the Keros actually do that.
Literally.
Literally.
But yeah, good.
They go to a special place up in the Andes on a glacier very high up, and they wait for the lightning to hit them.
Yeah.
I've been tempted sometimes. I kind of want to have it happen, but it's scary.
I'll go with you.
Well, there's an old there's an old prospector technique for how to find silver and gold in the mountains. And so what they do is they go into the mountains where they suspect where there is this stuff, and then they wait and they see where the lightning strikes are. If the lightning keeps on hitting that mountain over there, well, there's probably something in that mountain that is attracting the lightning.
Wow.
Yeah. So we can do the same thing. If we want to get enlightened or get zapped, well, hang out with who's got the source, you know? So go to the mountaintop. Well, you know, that's Osho. That's the great teachers, all that kind of stuff. And hang around and you'll probably get hit.
Yes.
Good. That's good.
You have a question, love?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, you know, there's so much in the laughing when you did the meditation at the beginning. And I remember when I was younger, I used to wake up the house in my sleep laughing. And I was just curious. I don't do it anymore. I'm just snoring, but I need to go back to laughing. But I'm curious how you were as a child, if you were laughing a lot, or if that was your natural state, or it's something you learned through Osho.
It is when I was growing up, I was fortunate. I didn't have much trauma. None.
You're so lucky.
But yes.
None, he claims. I've heard him claim that before, but
No. Anyway, but I had one.
he wasn't circumcised.
Program or one thing happened with me. I was always too much. So by and by, I was like put down. I was too loud. I was too exuberant. I was too what? And when I met Osho and started to do what he asked us to do, did groups and meditations and this and that, that got freed.
rekindled it.
Yes,
Lovely. Yeah.
yes, yes. And it started actually with crying. I remember the first time I really cried, and I thought, I have to do this for the next 10 days because it was such a limitless source of pain and crying, just coming out of nowhere. And then after that, the laughter started.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, feel free to ask if you have anything to share.
Hi, hi.
Hi.
Beautiful. You see, I'm cozy here, relaxing, and lovely to see you. And I have no question that is coming up. And I will stay connected with you, just quietly be present.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for joining. I should be unmuted, maybe. I don't know. Who's?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, you can hear us. Me. Hi, Agaya. Yeah, I invited her to join the session. So very courageous of you to come from your bed after a long day's work to meet
Night
this lovely
shift.
couple and these lovely ladies in India. And we have a lot of spectators. And I'm so excited because so many people are interested to see who is able to be open enough, and especially forgot her name. Let me find your name. Vinaya. What's your girlfriend's name again? I forgot her name.
Pyasa.
Yeah.
Pyasa.
Chetan, Pyasa.
Chetan, Pyasa. Yeah.
I go by Pyasa though.
This is the Agaya. This is Pyasa. I just met her, and she showed us her beautiful tattoo. But that is not really the main thing. But it's distracting me very much. But what is actually what I admire from her is that her relationship has made you, Chaitanya Pyasa, has made you so with such a bright mind. You are so able to express yourself so well. You are such a delight. I mean, women, when you love them, Vinaya, thank you. You have created, exposed a treasure that women, when you love them, they become intelligent. They really, I love you, Chetan, the way you express yourself. So, Agaya, I've just met this woman. Agaya is an old friend of mine, and she's in her bed after a long day Corona job.
Oh.
Yeah? Something like that, huh? Agaya, tell us.
Oh, I'm a caretaker of a lady who's paralyzed for half her body. So I go in her lift with her, and she's inside in the bed, out the bed with lifts and everything. So it's a lot of work, and being with my awareness on another person for 2 days it was, and the night was a little bit busy. So now I was just taking a nap. And Madhugit, thank you for inviting me, because I already enjoy so much to be with you. And I know in the days after it will be also still a part connected with us. It feels like that the other times we met.
Yeah, no, that's very nice to hear from you, Agaya, because of course to take care for others, okay, you get paid for it, and it cannot be paid in money, because I know that work, what my girlfriend was doing too, the caring for senior people who need care, that needs a lot of attention and love, and you must be getting a lot of not just money for that. There should be enough money, but also you must be able to really feel similar like.
Yes, and a nice also to get in the line of there is not the caretaker and the person being cared of, but we have fun together. And I'm lucky to be with this lady. We can do a lot of laughter, and that's beautiful. Yes.
Okay, maybe you ask Vinaya, we do a little bit more laughter. You make us laugh, because I see you're beautiful, and your love you're shining. So that is, I mean, it is love is not sex. I see that love is higher than sex. It's just physical thing, you know, it is just entertainment. But for the real experience, we have to ask Vinaya. So I'm very glad to still be in this session with my low battery here. And yeah, no, it's still working. It's still working. So yeah, I mean, very nice to hear everybody. So and I see that yeah. What else? I actually also speechless now because maybe someone else can just also
yes,
say
I've got a
something.
little
thank you,
testimonial.
Mother Gibbs. We are almost coming to an end, and before we wrap up, I'd like to ask Ma Pyasa about her book. You have wrote a book. Can you tell us about it?
I would love to. Thank you. So the name of the book is called The Intimacy Adventure Playbook, 33 Provocative Explorations for a Deeper, Hotter Love Connection. And it is, like it sounds, 33 different activities that couples can share to deepen their intimacy and their communication. So some of them are meditations to share with somebody else, some are inquiry, and some are touch exercises to deepen the awareness and the quality of touch with another human. And yeah, and I even actually shared no mind in there because it really brings you to your center, right? So there's a whole variety in the 33 different explorations. And so yeah, I wrote that, and that I think within that there's one exploration or one exercise that we didn't include in there that we wanted to share with you today, which is our favorite exercise that I didn't put in the book. And this one is not for the faint of heart. One has to have a strong ability to not take things personally, a very good sense of humor, and what else? I would say that it's not really good for people who haven't been together for a little bit of some time and have a strong foundation of trust.
Yes.
And hopefully you'll find it as funny as we do.
So
I have no idea.
So the prerequisite is that we are in a, what's it called, in a bind?
Conflict.
Or,
like if we're in a conflict,
you know,
we're just like triggered each other.
Like
we're
I'm
in that
angry.
place where I just feel like I hate you.
Yeah. So it's like almost automatic when this goes on for more than 5 minutes. We suddenly become aware of that, and then we start.
Wait.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we stop and we notice, right, and not be caught up in the trigger, not be caught up in the reactivity, or we notice that we were caught up in the reactivity, then, not for the faint of heart, we'll say things like,
"You fucking stupid bitch, you fishmongers."
You fuckhead, I can't stand you.
Shut the fuck up, man. I don't want to listen to your nagging anymore. Like, stop it.
We'll call each other names. So I don't know. When we really do it, we're like, we come up with some crazy names, and we'll just call each other names until we actually start laughing. Like, it really works.
So we mean it. We mean it in the beginning.
But it's
really
like a way
it.
to vent. But it's not like doing it, you know, like we're screaming at each other or something.
Or wanting to hurt. It's
like we've stopped and we've noticed that we're in conflict, and yeah, it's just this fun way that we've found. So I didn't include that in the book. But if anybody wants to get my book, it's on Amazon, or you can find it on my website. Hopefully you found that as entertaining as we do.
You're describing the go beyond by going through.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after 2, 3, 4 swear words and really meaning it, it's like I can't help it. I have to laugh when I start the next one.
We laugh at ourselves. you know, it's about learning how to not take ourselves so seriously and recognize when we're triggered. So yeah, I wish that the whole world will be able to do this with each other when needed.
I'm thankful to have to meet all of you. It would have taken years if it wasn't for this technology, or even lifetimes, to have all the shamans, wizards, aura readers, psychic healers. I'm very thankful to meet all of you here in one big place.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a last final question. So it's a
Awesome.
last question, so I'm asking two questions at once. Do you have any advice for people who are in relationship who like to stay together but alone? What you describe, alone together. And you have also said give a exercise. And my other question was, what makes a relationship fail? And also I found out the third question now.
Oh, wait. I have to remember. Can you save it and I'll answer one?
Oh, okay. So can you tell
I'll
us
get too
about
confused.
how to be alone together? What makes relationship fail? And the final ultimate question is there anything you wish I would have asked you that I haven't asked you?
So,
Sorry.
No pressure.
I hope you have time. But to this alone together,
I think there are many questions. There's just the problem is that there is we are all a little bit shy to go and really talk about this issue. I mean, if you have two lovers, they are okay, they are admitting they are in love, they are having sexual intercourse. But when you are alone, then are you still able to understand?
yes. So, okay, my alone together, but how it came to pass actually was, it was really interesting because in our 20 years, things are changing all the time. And we are constantly evolving into a new kind of togetherness. And probably this indoctrination I had from Osho about that you are alone. You are on your own. Yeah. So be familiar and be happy, not happy, but be content in being alone and find contentment in that for yourself. Now, when we have a relationship, that kind of like fades away and the beauty comes out of this togetherness. I don't know, for some reason we started to take more time apart and going on different trips and then meeting up again. And the last time we did that here in February in Costa Rica, it was so clear that we are on our own path, that we are alone on our journey, and we do it together. And it was so amazing to feel this, yeah, we are alone and we are together. So this came alone together.
Yeah, I think that when you stay with your own commitment to self and with each other, that after some time it becomes very clear that the place that you need to put your sexual energy, your chi, your creative life force is into service. And what is it that you're bringing to the world? And so I think that as fellow travelers, the two of us, we support each other in a partnership to to be able to do that, you know, to support each other in the ways that we need.
So
like I need a lot of help with technology when I'm doing my podcasts or different things or whatever. He helps me, simple little thing, but also just on the energetic levels too, just really believing, like I feel his belief in me and his like undying support of helping me to bring my work into the world. And hopefully I'm doing that as well with him, you know, to support each other. But I forgot, there were 3 questions in there, and there was something I wanted to say.
So how to get there is basically just become aware and work on yourself and know that, you know, you are alone. There's no help outside yourself. Finish story. We can walk together for a while, but even walking together, we are alone. It's, I have to do my story.
Oh, I know what it was. Why relationships fail, I think you asked in there. Yeah, I think what Vinaya is saying right there is about the ways that people are looking just outside themselves, looking to the relationship to save them, to be the thing that makes them feel complete. But we all know that there's a lot of relationships that people are in and they feel lonely. So when we say that we're alone together, it's not that we're lonely together, which is what I think a lot of people are, right? They're lonely together because they think that there's some perfect relationship. And, you know, the truth is that there is no perfect relationship. So I think a lot of people start on the path of relationship with each other. Usually the hormones are very high, the honeymoon is happening. And, you know, at one point the shadow comes up, people start getting comfortable and revealing their whole, taking the mask off, right? And then people give up because they just think that, oh, well, this isn't the perfect person, you know, it's kind of like a fantasy. So my suggestion is that people really just stop looking for the perfect person. Unless you are perfect, you're not going to find a perfect person. And I doubt any of us, if we're still here and not totally enlightened, that we're perfect, or if that even exists.
And what shifts is when we come to this space is that I'm not in a relationship because I need something.
Yeah.
I'm in a relationship because I have something to give.
That's very nice.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah.
And I think also that, you know, why relationships fail, it's because what I was kind of saying about the shadow stuff is that when we are close with somebody, that person probably knows how to trigger us more than anybody else. And so the more, you know, all of those unhealed wounds are just being held right in your face, and you have to look at it. So I think a lot of people give up and they're like, oh, I don't really want to look at this. And they run away. So maybe why we're still together after 20 years has to do with that, the commitment to that, to owning our own triggers and to looking in that mirror. Yeah. I think that the relationships are like the greatest opportunity for growth and healing, for the integration of self.
What comes to mind? Talk about like I'm supporting her, and you know, am I supported by her? To start with, is Osho was asked something about my girlfriend or whatever, and he started off with going like, "What are you talking about, girlfriend? There are no girlfriends. There are only girl enemies." They're your Zen masters. So that is the support I feel I get. I get my ass kicked because I've been acting stupid or like unaware or like what. And
get what you need.
Yeah.
Call me Ma Zen Stick.
Ma Zen Stick.
Ma Vinaya Zen Stick.
Or a Dakini. In Tantra, you have a Dakini.
So was there anything else question-wise? There was a third one.
Anything else that you wanted to share before we
Oh,
go?
anything else I want to share? Or the ones which you didn't ask us.
You're about healing?
What's that?
We want to talk about the Healy, the new frequency healing device that I have also purchased because Satyam told me about it. And
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, wow. Have you been using it?
I've been using it in times of stress, when I had to write something, when I needed concentration, and I needed the extra help, and it did work. Yeah, I have to say, yeah.
Well, it's
What
not,
is this?
it doesn't really feel right in this moment here, but just briefly, there is a way to go.
Well, as somebody was mentioning here today, you know, we are moving through different levels of consciousness, I think, on a collective level at this moment. And the Healy is a frequency device, I think, for those of us who understand that everything is energy. And so we can do healing of the bioenergetic body, which helps to heal the physical. And if you're interested, we can tell you more at another time. You can contact Vinaya.
And for the ascension is like when I raise my frequency, I am a tool to raise everybody else's frequency. And by being healthy and mentally, physically, and emotionally, that brings my frequency up.
I think he's talking about planetary or personal activation for planetary healing. It's kind of what Vinaya is alluding to.
One more question.
But yeah, so what's that?
One more question from me. So you talk about relationship, and there's a beautiful things you said, you know, I have something to give you. But sometimes the partner, there's a one person need to go west, one person need to go east, and then how is the matching the energy between those different kind of energy somebody's carrying.
Yeah, and this happens with us, where she goes her way to do her work and does workshops in Mexico, and I
Europe
go or Europe or wherever.
We travel apart. I do a lot of speaking events and retreats and things, or I was pre-COVID. And Vinaya's going, and so we do.
And then it's really strange, interesting, because it is sometimes this missing mind comes in, but generally it's really like a knowing that even when we are apart, we are alone together, we are connected. And in the end, even though I don't see it happen, if we would go completely our ways today, I would be as happy and connected with her as if she would be physically in my presence. And
I have no idea if I could say that. I have no idea.
No, I know
until
that.
I have that experience, I can't say that I know.
I know that because also it's like I really know that I can be extremely, it's slightly different, but in the same way happy and content when I'm sitting alone on the river and I'm gonna have to do this for the next 10 years.
So
I know that.
Yeah. So I know you have achieved that level, the understanding level. You achieved that wisdom, and then you are beyond the, you know, the time and space. So you easily you can understand. But there's so many couple, you know, in this earth, they are not that, you know, the happy. So what would you suggest for those people?
Work on yourself.
Yeah, come together.
Don't work on the couple story, because on the couple story I cannot work unless I have freedom from myself and work on myself. So I work first on myself, and everything else follows.
I would say, well, this is what my work is about as a sovereignty mentor, is helping people free themselves from that conditioning. Some of that conditioning might say that if I'm with somebody and they want to be separate for some time, then they don't love me, right? That might be some of the conditioning. We take it personally. So unwinding this conditioning which I can help people do, by the way, anybody who's out there, is important. So, you know, what we've realized and where this together alone thing came from, that Vinaya kind of coined after our last being apart for maybe 2 months, 6 weeks, something like that. When we came back together, we were just reveling in how happy we were on our own and how happy we were to come back together, and that there is no need. That was the basis of that, is like, there is no need. So my advice to people would be to, like Vinaya was saying, do that inner work and to unwind and decondition from that which tells you to take everything personally. That if my lover is attracted to somebody else, wants to go somewhere else, wants to do something different than me, that it's a reflection on me, that I'm taking, you know, that I take it personally. When we can rise out of that and just be in that, because that's a contracted state. When we can relax and trust and open to the moment and open to what just fully is in this moment, that is a state of relaxation, and that is love. All those other things, like, that could be jealousy, or that could be feeling like, oh, I'm missing you, and this like, oh, this clinging, it's all this contraction. It's not, you know, a state of relaxation. So I would say, advice, love yourself, know yourself, do the healing. You know, I big piece of my work is learning, teaching and sharing self-regulation, working with the nervous system, because we have been traumatized on a mass collective level. As individuals, as a society, we're getting even more of it now, all the fear and, you know, everything. But this fear and this trauma has come from so many different directions, and it makes it difficult for us to relax. So that is a really big piece, is to learn how to regulate your own nervous system. I could say so much more, but I'll stop myself there.
Thank you. Because so many people are watching, so it will be the great suggestion for the, you know, those who are struggling, you know, to maintain the relationship. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ajita, I have a question for you. Oh, sorry. Jump back. You're still there.
Something that Osho loved to talk to us about was that when we love somebody, part of us goes into them and part of them goes into us. And he was explaining that when he was talking around death. He says, this is why when someone we love dies, we feel a sense of loss. Something goes out of us.
Yeah, you are no more than, you see. Look at Vinaya.
Yeah.
And so it's that
complete surrender.
So what Osho's talking about there is that we invest part of our, it's like we invest part of our soul into our lover, and our lover invests part of their soul into us. And so we're walking around, you know, with this with this blend. And so when we die, the original investment returns, leaves us, but we keep the experience.
Yeah.
You know?
Thank you.
So yeah, so this is why he was asked, you know, it's very interesting sort of little thing there, because, you know, because it's, so I like to describe it as 1 and 1 makes 3. Okay?
Right.
Yeah.
And that gives a force.
Thank you. It's really interesting conversation. Thank you all of you. Really enjoyed thoroughly.
I have a little anecdote maybe for the end. I don't know if we have time. And it's about going into this, what is love, you know? So like in the beginning, even in my life, love was sexuality or attraction or this or that. And so the other day I was sitting here on my veranda, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw a beautiful woman. I couldn't even see it, but it was a woman, and she was very beautiful. I couldn't see any details, and like this incredible yes came up in my heart. And I wanted to look closer. Who is this? And so I turned around and looked closer, and it was Pyasa.
Oh. I was thinking you are going to say somebody, but
But it showed me really that the connection or the love has nothing to do with the outside story, even though I adore her. It's like the energy, it's a being. And when I get out of my stories and my needs, then I'm open to that. And so working on myself and becoming more conscious and aware, then I can also invite my perfect relationship if that's in my stars.
I already said there is no perfect relationship.
Yeah, there is no perfect relationship,
Anyway,
but yeah, anyway. All right.
one more question, yeah? One more question.
One more. We can keep going. We can keep going.
No, it's very, you guys are amazing, is that all right if I ask one question?
Yes, please.
Can married man can love the married woman, or married woman can love the married man, this vice versa? This can happen. Is it possible?
You mean a married man falls in love with a woman who's married to another man?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, all the bloody time.
Sure.
Of course.
Of course, it's love,
Marriage doesn't mean anything anyway.
No, it's just a bloody piece of paper. And yeah, and I can adore and love more than one person anyways.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need to go and get into her pants, but or I can, and then, for us having this security of our marriage, that gives you the freedom, so this is love is complete freedom, no matter what.
I would say that when I see Vinaya having a deep connection with a girlfriend of mine, for example, and there just being this love, this state of relaxation, I love him even more. Like, or if you can love more, maybe that's kind of a silly expression, but I really appreciate that, and I love that when I see it. It's just like so beautiful, this pure love, when it's love, because we're talking about something else. We're not talking about lust. You were asking about love, right? That's very different than lust, or now I want to, and now I need to leave this person. That's other stories. That's not love again, right? Bringing it back to love. When we love, it's just beautiful.
Thank you.
It's like a little healing that I did this morning. This woman in distress in Bhutan, halfway around the world, reached out to me because she loves me. She loves where I'm at. She loves what I put out to the world. And so she called me, please, can you help me? So I did blessings of love, and she felt it. And then that calmed her down. And then, okay, let's figure out what can we do here. And so she was so willing to listen. And so I gave her some advice, and she followed through on that. So that's this thing about when we love, we trust. And so
Right.
we, live love large.
Can we have your number then?
Yeah, and trust.
Thank you.
When we're violating our own intuition, when we're not trusting ourselves, we can't trust anybody else. So it doesn't really have to do with how he acts or his moral code. It has to do with, am I trusting myself? Am I treating myself with love and respect? And when I don't, I'm betraying myself, and then I don't trust myself or life or existence or anybody else.
That's true.
Thank you, everybody. We are almost at the end. If anybody have any question to all our viewers, you can ask in the comment box or contact Vinaya and Pyasa directly. I have sent their contact information there as well. Vinaya I hope Vinaya and Pyasa will go in the comment and reply them, because there are so many questions and we are limited with the time. Okay. So we like to end, and I'd like to just quote this is a bit, I don't want to sound political, but this is a bit political. So this is the Osho code, and I think this is very relevant to this day. I think every Osho saying is relevant, but what's happening right now is more relevant than before. You may be the last generation which has the possibility to rebel. And if you don't rebel, there may be no more chances. Humanity can be reduced to robot-like existence. So rebel while there is still time. This is from the book of Wisdom, chapter 4, question 1. And this rebels, what Osho is talking about, I think, is the inner revolution
Yes.
or something. And
Yes.
like I hear a lot of things that also sannyasis and friends says that oh, we need to do all this vaccine and all this thing. But what is happening in the Osho world itself, we are still not able to rebel, because Osho says at the end when he said, the day I go, your responsibility becomes greater to leave me, to become me. My leaving the body will be a challenge for you. That now that I have left one body, I can be in all bodies. And I'm absolutely certain, utterly happy that I have got the right people who are going to be my books, my temple, my synagogues. It all depends on you, because who is going to spread me all over the world. So, Vinaya, just a few short remarks. What your thoughts about what's going on in the Osho's world, where a lot of the pages are shut down? And I heard there is some court case going from 20, 30 years now, and it's still being also sannyasis and also disciple, we are very much limited to share and spread also. Even when I play, like I like to play all this with Osho's own voice, but due to the copyright law and other thing, I could not do it. Can you shed some light on your thoughts?
About what's happening in the Osho world?
Yes, yes.
I have no idea.
There we go.
It's none of my business. I don't care. It's what I really know and understand and experience is that it doesn't really matter what anybody else does. I got to do what I need to do, is become aware and conscious and work on myself. And that's important for me, even though it's like almost like a second nature to me to be in that space and looking. And yeah, so that's that. And about this Osho quote, when he leaves my body, it's really strange because, and it sounds even strange to me, but lately I really have the feeling that the more I kind of step aside and out of my construct by just being present, the more I feel Osho. And yeah, I don't know. It sounds really weird, and I'm not his channel or anything like this, but I definitely do feel him coming through me. Yeah.
I really feel that with what's happening in the current world situations gives everybody an opportunity for a big time out. And, you know, Osho spoke about it only takes how many people to really reach? 200 people to reach enlightenment. Well, we have an incredible amount of time right now to look at ourselves, to slow down, and to, you know, realize who we are, as we were talking about before. So I think it could be an amazing opportunity if we take it seriously.
The quantum effect.
Invite Vinaya to do the metta prayer, and we'll conclude this gathering.
He wants me to do it.
I
He's
want her
pointing
to do
me.
it because
Yes, Vinaya
I'm not
and
really,
Pyasa to do it.
I'm not really good in praying, you know. It's like, yeah.
That's what
I'll
partners are
share.
for.
I have it here.
But I would like to get everybody. So for
Yeah.
this prayer, please, to close our circle, we close our eyes and just become aware and conscious of our breath, how it goes in and out.
May the merit of this gathering benefit all sentient beings. May the light of wisdom dispel ignorance, and with it the cause of all suffering. May all sentient beings find the spiritual path leading them to the ultimate liberation. And may I develop compassion, boundless compassion, as the sky, so that all may rest in the clear light of their own awareness. So be it, so it is. Satnam, namaste.
Namaste.
It's exactly
Thank
2
you.
hours. It's exactly 2 hours.
Woo, that's a long time.
Thank
Okay.
you all so much.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
questions and for being curious about us and sharing with us. Thank
Pleasure.
you.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Good one. This is a good session.